Hey, you fellow Whovians. What's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and yeah, why not? It just immediately hit me to just go with that, just why not? But anyway, so, yeah, because some of you are Whovians as well as I am, and thus what you're watching, what I'm reviewing. So, yes, that's right, guys. Now I am finally reviewing the second season, as it's referred to, of Doctor Who on Disney+. Yes. So, Season 2 of Doctor Who. Well, so far, and because, yes, you read the title, this is part 1 of my review of Season 2, starting with the first 3 episodes. Yeah, so far, Season 2, to me, is so far so good. Yeah, but a quick recap on Season 1. Now, Season 1 of Doctor Who, this being the official start for a new era of Doctor Who. I mean, of course, it started with the 3 anniversary specials, and then we had the Christmas special, where, yeah, we had our first full adventure with the 15th incarnation, and then after that, we got Season 1. And Season 1, well, yeah, I know, of course, that for a lot of people, it's not been satisfying a lot of the Whovians. With what has been done so far with Doctor Who, and, with some stuff here and there in some episodes. I mean, look, even though, because it's great that, Russell T Davies and a good majority that worked with Russell when doing Doctor Who, because, yeah, Russell and those people were responsible for bringing Doctor Who back. I don't know, I mean, I feel as though that, look, they're trying their best, and that goes for Russell, okay? Maybe he doesn't have the exact same star power and strength like he had with, when he was running Doctor Who at that time, the first seasons from seasons 1 to 4. But I'm just simply saying, there were some good episodes that came from season 1 that were some of my favorites. So yeah, I'm just simply saying. Not to mention that, also, in addition, Stephen Moffat came back to write 1 or 2 episodes. Was responsible for writing the last Christmas special, which I did review because of Ruby. Yeah. Well, not Ruby, but just, with what's-her-face from Brigaden and in that one. Just, okay. But yeah. And by the way, because, yeah, my review of Season 1, I reviewed the entirety of it in one review. But this time for Season 2, I think it's best that, I do it in, say, 3 or 4 parts. So, yeah. So yeah, again, thus, part 1 of Season 2, episodes 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, so again, the first 3 episodes of Doctor Who Season 2. I think that, yeah, with the first 3 episodes of Season 2, so far, not a bad start. I mean, of course, with some people complaining about what was brought into the first 3 episodes, obviously, but I don't know, because I'm pretty sure as though from what I've seen, they were some pretty good 3 episodes. I know one of them especially being the top rated one. I've seen it on IMDb, just, yeah. And yeah, I gotta say, because, with what the first 3 episodes were, what was brought to the first 3 episodes, and the fact that we have a new companion that has stepped in alongside with the Doctor and going on adventures with the Doctor, and with what goes on with this new companion so far, and in the first 3 episodes, is very interesting, of course, with what goes on in the first episode. So, yeah. Yeah, but just overall, the first 3 episodes of Season 2 of Doctor Who are not bad. A not bad start to the second season. And by the way, I might as well go ahead and bring this up because as of now, we all know, right? We were going to know even after the final episode of Season 2 came out, yeah, that sadly and unexpectedly, Season 2 is the last season where we have Ncuti Gatwa as the 15th incarnation. Yeah, this is the last season where we have the 15th incarnation, and, yeah, but, this isn't the first time where we would kind of lose the Doctor a bit earlier. I mean, The last time that really happened was with the ninth incarnation, Christopher Eccleston. We only got him for one season, and that was it. But more on, Ncuti Gatwa's departure when I get to the final episode. Yeah. But again, I just thought I'd mention it because might as well, and since, well, by now, we all know, so, of course, it wasn't going to take that long for this to be announced worldwide, in the news and in the articles. If you, when you go on, say, IMDb or social media, YouTube, oh yeah, it's going to be out there a lot. But anyways, so, enough said. So, let's get into the first 3 episodes of Doctor Who themselves. Starting with, of course, episode 1, which being The Robot Revolution. Yeah, because the last Christmas special, I almost forgot the name. It's Joy to the World. Yeah, okay. So, description / the story on episode 1, The Robot Revolution. When robots from outer space kidnap nurse Belinda Chandra, the Doctor embarks on an epic intergalactic quest to get his new friend back home to Earth. Okay, so, an interesting way that this episode starts, and if, not every episode of Doctor Who starts off in a really cool and interesting way, especially, setting up what is to happen in the episodes, right? So, 17 years ago, we see this girl named Belinda Chandra being played by Varada Sithu. I think I'm getting her full name right, yeah. And by the way, because I'll go ahead and mention this because the fact that the Doctor has known Belinda for quite a while, because it was mentioned in season 1 that there's someone that the Doctor should keep an eye out on, and someone very important. Not to mention that Varada Sithu played a character that the Doctor encountered in one of the first early episodes of season 1. If you know, you know. So, yeah. And the connection to that, that's just awesome, And the fact that, who'd have thought, because we were going to see Varada Sithu as the next companion after Ruby. But, yeah. So, with the introduction of Belinda, she's sitting at a park bench with her boyfriend, Alan Budd, trying to make a good impression on her, even, giving her a star diploma, because her not being a very smart girl at that time, one of those girls, and not doing math and such, outdated, but who can argue at that time, and with how it's established here, just, and Alan Budd being yes, that's right, it's Alan. Alan being played by Johnny Green. Yeah, there's no H in his first name, but yeah. Again, just, him trying to make a good impression on her, and, it seems to go pretty well, but at the same time, just, and how Belinda's taking this. But, yeah, they seem like a cute couple so far. However, fast forward 17 years later, and in present time, 2025, we see Belinda as a really good, hard-working nurse at a hospital, and sure enough, the Doctor emerging, once again, yes, Ncuti Gatwa, the 15th incarnation, and in that funny getup he's in with the skirt, it's so funny. It would have been nice if, I'm not complaining, but it would have been nice if maybe he would have sticked with at least 1 or 2 wardrobes. Like, I'm not really complaining, I'm not going in that direction. Like, I think it is nice for once that, for this incarnation of the Doctor, we're in totally different wardrobes, and really blending into wherever he and his companion travel to. You know what I mean? The past incarnations didn't really. So, that's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, the getup that he was in, like, especially in the first Christmas, and well, in the 2 Christmas specials with that brown leather jacket and so on, that was really cool. But, I'm just saying. But yeah, so the Doctor emerging, he's trying to look for Belinda, even trying to ask for, the information access to those that work at the hospital. And of course, that's not going to work for him. And even the receptionist, yes, I pronounced that right, being played by Belinda Alusu I'm even getting that right, is not going to help the Doctor with this. But of course, yeah, the Doctor getting some information from his sonic screwdriver, causing the entire hospital to black out, literally. And Belinda, back at her apartment, well, a little later, she is paid a strange visit from these robots who are going to take her back with them to their planet that's surprisingly named after her. Why? Well, because, why are they taking her with them? And the fact that the planet they come from is named after her? Well, she is to be their queen, and also, this has to do with the star diploma. Yeah. And unfortunately, the Doctor's too late to try and rescue Belinda. And even Belinda being greeted by Miss Flood, whom we saw in the first Christmas special, and from there on, yeah. And Miss Flood, once again, being played by Brian May's wife, Anita Dobson. And yes, it is true, because she is the wife of one of the members of Queen, Brian May. So yeah, his second wife, but yeah. And of course, Anita Dobson, she's acted before, and I know I've said this before, because yeah, so far she's been pretty good in being in the world of Doctor Who, and the fact her character has done some fourth wall breaking, and has again, yeah. But yeah, overall, Belinda is taken on board the robot's ship, and by the way, because, two of the robots, robot number 1 being played by Stephen Love, and robot number 2 being played by Robert Strange, the body performances of those robots, because, well, the robots are practically there, and rightfully so, because, Doctor Who always, a good majority, having robots and creatures actually practically being there. Yeah. And the voices of the robots, well, who better to voice the robots than good old Nicholas Briggs, aka the voice of the Daleks and the Cybermen. Yeah. And now that I mention them, just to go ahead and get this out of the way, sadly, because, yeah, we don't get any Daleks and Cybermen, nor does the 15th incarnation encounter them. But this isn't technically the first time that we've had a past incarnation of the Doctor not interact with his biggest foes, most notably the Daleks and the Cybermen. Well, I can think of, say, the 8th Doctor, most notably. Yeah, because the 8th incarnation, he was the last Doctor before the 15th incarnation to never come cross and interact / come face-to-face with the Daleks and the Cybermen. And also, for, say, the 3rd incarnation, John Perriwit, he never encountered nor came face-to-face with the Cybermen. And same goes for the 9th incarnation. Yeah, the 9th and the 3rd incarnations of the Doctor never encountered the Cybermen. They only encountered the Daleks. That's it. But as for the 8th Doctor, yeah, he is the first one. At the time, he was the first and only incarnation of the Doctor never to interact with those two. And now we have the 15th incarnation that also has not interacted with them. I mean, look, it's no big deal, okay? Besides, we didn't get that much of the 8th incarnation, because we've only had the movie and a few other specials that have Paul McGann reprising the role of the 8th Doctor, not having any Cybermen or Daleks, but anyways, so back to where I was, because, yeah, then there's a moment, and after the credits roll, because, yeah, with Belinda being transported to the planet that's named after her, and by the way, because, yeah, that planet was never named after her, obviously, she finds this confusing and strange, and, saying to whomever it is in the ship that's flying it that they got the wrong person. And she mentions and recommends that they should go get Alan instead, and apparently 17 years later, we learned that, supposedly, that Alan ghosted her. At least that's what she thinks, and us, the audience, at first. Then, after mentioning his name, his full name, there's a time, there's like a glitch and such, and, time fracture. Yes, time fracture. Good thing I remember that, as of now. Yeah, because, apparently the Doctor, believing that, yeah, this was a time fracture because everything's glitching and so on. Well, what could this mean? And the fact that we learn a little later that the proper time of space and the present is a bit wonky. So, yeah. But eventually, when making their way to the planet that's named after Belinda, well, because, Belinda first meeting with, with the humans that are present on this planet. And apparently, on the planet that's named after Belinda, there's a war. Humans versus robots. There's no peace. There used to be, but not anymore. And one of the human characters that comes to greet Belinda, but begs Belinda to help with what's been going on this planet to stop this war, Sasha number 55, being played by Evelyn Miller. And apparently, yeah, there's something more about Sasha that we learn a little later. So then Belinda being escorted to her royal throne, and we just so happen to see the Doctor with all these other people on the planet, and the Doctor blending in, of course. And then, and to speed things up some, because the Doctor makes his way and basically gives some information and background on Belinda, on what the planet used to be like, and, well, he also manages to give out a code to Belinda every fourth word, something like that, yeah. Basically, he alerts Belinda that the robots have trouble processing every ninth word in a sentence and so on, And, Belinda realizing this and giving out, hand codes and such, but yeah, sure enough, because the Doctor and all the other humans, they're able to, they're aliens technically, but still, those that live on the planet, they manage to fire upon the robots, they're rebels, and And man, because the robots, how they vaporize their victims, like literally vaporizing them to dust and such, almost kind of in the same kind of way as the Daleks, because we can see their skeletons or something, but they're literally being vaporized, turned to dust and such. It's crazy and it's terrifying. And Belinda learning that the Doctor is a time traveler and, just being referred to as the Doctor. And apparently he's technically been in a relationship with Sasha. And not to mention that the Doctor's been living on that planet for 6 months. But unfortunately, did we not see this coming? Sadly, Sasha gets vaporized and killed by one of the robots, and this devastates the Doctor very badly. By the way, because some of the other robots, 2 more. Robot number 3 being played by Charles Sanford, and robot number 4, Lucas Edwards. Because, what happens next is, them trying to make their escape, and they manage to, outrun the robots, escape from them, remain hidden in an underworld city, where, all of those that are hiding and, avoiding the robots, they're the rebels, and, and to go ahead and name some of the other characters, well, we have Manny, played by Max Parker. We have Scully, played by Caleb Hughes. I might have mispronounced the character's name, maybe. Might have butchered it. Again, me sometimes. And we have Shago, played by Nadine Higgin. And we also have the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister whom we see in a flashback until I get there. But we also learned that Belinda is to be hitched / be married and linked with the AI generator, the main ruler and such of the planet and in control of the robots. Because the robot's following him. And something about the AI generator that we don't know fully yet. However, for me, when I was watching this episode, it didn't take me that long to wonder, wait a second, is the AI generator think what I think it's supposed to be? Because, keep in mind, with the star diplomacy that Belinda had at the start of the episode, and the fact we see and learn that there's an exact same copy of it, it's a duplicate, and the risks that can happen with those being linked and such, and this also has to do with the AI generator, did any of you, while watching this episode, felt the same way too as I did? Wait a second, is this going in the direction I think it is, and with the AI generator, something about the AI generator that, but until I get there in a few moments, because for Belinda, because, yeah, down in the underworld city, because those that are wounded and are being attended to, well, Belinda, being a nurse, she plays the part of the nurse, helping and attending those, and also Belinda learning more about the Doctor, that, yes, he is an alien, but not those aliens, like those that are on this planet. Even showing a flat screen X-ray to her of his two hearts. Yeah, even when she listens to his two hearts in his chest. Yeah, that was pretty good. And yeah, because, you know, he's a completely different alien, and when he later explains to her that he's a Time Lord, and when explaining some to her about, you know, the concept of Time Lords and so on, like, you know, where he came from, but does not mention yet on his other fellow Time Lords and his home planet yet, but just, yeah, anyway, so, yeah, by the way, because one of the characters, you know, in the underworld city, Manny, you know, even though he's a good man and he's loyal, you know, and he can be trusted, he flat out blames Belinda for what's happened and with the loss of Sasha. But even the Doctor assuring Manny and to Belinda that it's not her fault. But, you know, Belinda feeling that it is. In fact, when at one point, and to still speed things up some, she sacrifices herself and for everybody in the underworld city not to be hurt/harmed because of her. Because, yeah, the robot's still going after her. And not to mention that there was one robot that did follow the Doctor and Belinda. This tiny vacuum robot, you know, polish, as it says constantly. That was funny. Also, to name some of the other characters, we have Stephen Haynes, played by Jeffen Conjuman, and Kirby Blake, played by Thalia Dukid, if I'm... Dudiki? Again, you know me sometimes. And Tombo, played by Tom Story. Yeah. But yeah, so the tiny robot vacuum that followed Belinda and the Doctor. Well, because the Doctor had to shut off the robot vacuum because with the robot vacuum being activated, yeah, the robots would be alerted to, you know, where and to find and locate the Doctor and the Queen, Belinda, she's referred to by the robots. But yeah, eventually Belinda does reactivate the robot, and by luring the robots and Belinda sacrificing herself to meet with the AI generator and to be linked with it. Yeah. And the Doctor, well, because he's taken alongside with Belinda to meet with the AI generator. And yeah, because the AI generator looks pretty cool. And, well, there are some things that the AI generator mentioned that alerted Belinda and the Doctor what this AI generator is specifically. And something that, yeah, because they were totally not expecting. And I'm sure, yeah, because the same went for a lot of us. But like I said, I technically kind of already figured, and again, I was just like, is this AI generator? Like, no. And especially because with the lettering, because AI generator, just something to it, and with the letter A. And sure enough, what's inside of the AI generator? It is Alan. Yes, Alan is the AI generator. No kidding, because, you know, 17 years ago, because when he gave Belinda that star certificate, just, yeah. And how did Alan get there in the first place? Well, luckily he wasn't like, it's not like he came from outer space and when he would encounter Belinda, nothing like that, because no, he was a simple human being on Earth, and just so happens that with Belinda and Alan, with their star diplomacies, and the fact that Alan named a star after her, yeah, that's what got the robots their attention and so on. And how they found and located Alan? Well, because when Belinda mentioned Alan, and when there was a time fracture and there, you know, glitchiness and such, yeah, the robots went back in time and went to get him. And, you know, him being taken to their planet and Alan stupid as he's acting, where, you know, he finds it very impressive that he can be in control because he's a big gamer and, you know, can control the robots and, like, you know, killing people and such. Oh my gosh, dude, this is real. This isn't a video game. And even when, yeah, because, like, the Prime Minister who was there in the flashbacks when Alan was brought to that planet, yeah, and the Prime Minister being played by William Ellis, yeah, because Alan murdering the Prime Minister, and now, like, you know, the robots are under his command, and how Alan would look and turn out to be, you know, just, it's crazy. And, yeah, because the further dialogue that the Doctor, Alan, and Belinda have, and when, yeah, solving the puzzle some more, and when it comes to trying, and if there's a possible way to defeat Alan, and sure enough there is, and, you know, even Belinda making another sacrifice. You know, she's going to link herself and join with Alan. And by taking both of the star diplomacies that they have, touching them, but with that, and with the Doctor making his way in there and going through the entire life of Belinda, you know, from when she was a baby to now, and somehow, and it works, by destroying and defeating Alan. Yeah, just overall, Alan is defeated, and he's technically still alive, but he's a tiny sperm, like, you know, this little speck and such, you know, on the floor. But tell me this was not funny, where, yeah, but just, like, it was funny, but also, oh my God, even how the Doctor and Belinda, rightfully so, react to it, where the robot vacuum vacuums up tiny little Alan. Oh, gosh. And who's to say that Doctor Who can't be dark, you know, be super dark and humorous, you know what I'm saying? Just in how villains are defeated in various ways. You know what I mean? Just, yeah. But, yeah, sadly, that's the end for Alan. So, like, he's just, like, the sperm and so on, like, has done nothing yet. But, still, yeah. But overall, with the defeat of Alan, now the robots are reactivated and reprogrammed, no longer being dangerous, and the war has finally come to an end. And yeah, there's like a little rename to the planet and such, and I think the city, yeah, and especially this has to do with the late Sasha, yeah, and the Doctor and Belinda, you know, saying their goodbyes to everybody, the survivors and such, and a new era has begun for the planet. And also, Belinda, she did see the TARDIS earlier, because that's the thing, because as I said earlier, the Doctor had been living on that planet for 6 months, and when, you know, he told Sasha and the others that he can help them, and it didn't take that long for Sasha especially and the others to trust the Doctor, not to mention because when the Doctor first arrived, his TARDIS was taken away from him, but as of now, it's been given back to him. Good. And, well, because, yeah, Belinda, of course, because, again, she saw the TARDIS earlier when she was first taken to the planet. She can see the TARDIS spinning out in space, and, yeah, now seeing it right there. And when she enters the TARDIS for the first time, yes, the whole thing of it's bigger on the outside, yeah, as always with new companions / new characters that get to first go inside the TARDIS and see that, yeah, it's bigger on the inside than the outside, you know? Never disappoints, and always great, funny. But yeah, and, well, even like Belinda, a bit hesitant, the fact that the Doctor had been stalking her for quite a while, but it's not like he was being a creep, of course, but yeah, and, you know, her realizing that, you know, maybe he's dangerous and so on, but, you know, not intentional, of course, just, yeah, knowing the Doctor, of course. And she wants to go back home. And the Doctor, well, he promises to take her back home, but just, yeah, like, towards the end of the episode, like, something goes wrong. And because of the time fracture and all that, because they're not able to get back straight to Earth in a matter of seconds. And, yeah, once again, like, having a huge problem, you know, and with the TARDIS, and, yeah, like, and then one of the last things we see is a lot of debris and some objects floating in space when the TARDIS leaves. Like, this is stuff from planet Earth. There's a car, there's the Statue of Liberty, I think, yeah, the Eiffel Tower was there. What's happened to Earth? Well, up to when we get to, say, episode 2 and from there on, and what they learn about planet Earth and how far they travel into the future. Many years in the future. Jeez Louise. But, yeah. I think that for episode 1, The Robot Revolution, that was a not bad start. A not bad start for season 2 and being introduced to the Doctor's new companion. And yes, because the Doctor mentioning to Belinda about, another person that he encountered who looks exactly like her. Yeah, that being brought up. Yeah. But again, I think that The Robot Revolution was a not bad start for season 2. And again, with, say, like the new companion that steps in, the story that centers on her, what she finds herself into, and when she comes face to face with the Doctor, and from there on, just, yeah. Overall, a not bad start to the second/new season of Doctor Who. Okay, now, let's dive into episode 2. Yes, and yeah, this one that I mentioned earlier, because, well, yeah. Oh, yeah, because, like, okay, so episodes 2 and 3, they're the top-rated ones, and that I'm looking at on Doctor Who's IMDb page, yeah. And, well, they were, episodes 2 and 3 were, so far, pretty good episodes. They were to season 2, but yeah. So, episode 2, Lux. Description/the story. The quest to get Belinda home leads to an abandoned cinema, hiding a terrifying secret. Yeah, this was an interesting one, and apparently, like, it restores a love letter to the fandom, I want to say. Yeah, like, that's what I heard, but just, yeah, anyways. But yeah, of course, we all knew that this was coming, because when we first heard about this, the fact we were going to see a living, breathing cartoon, hand-drawn cartoon character come to life and basically be the main antagonist. Wow, because did that not sound interesting at first, and how they were going to do this? Like, in some way, because, I mean, knowing Doctor Who and the science of Doctor Who, and with the entities, the gods and such in the world of Doctor Who, I'm just saying, like, yeah. And I think how they did it for this, and with this cartoon character coming to life, not bad. It was pretty well done. But yeah, so, in 1952 Miami, yeah, we see this cinema, and, well, because it's 1952, because how movies played some certain things on the big screen, and, this is, of course, like, yeah, like, almost before, say, television, but still. Well, because, something makes its way into the film cameras, and, with what, happens when, like, say, this, cartoon pops up on the movie screen, and we have this this cartoon character named Mr. Ring-a-Ding, and singing like a catchy melody, and especially it has to be in that style and vibe of, like, say, in the 50s or something, and Mr. Ring-a-Ding, and we knew whom he was going to be voiced by, and yes, Mr. Ring-a-Ding being voiced by good old Alan Cumming. And keep in mind, this isn't the first time we've had Alan Cumming in the world of Doctor Who, because, as I recall, yeah, he was in a previous episode of Doctor Who during the time and era of Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor. If you know, you know. So, yeah. I mean, I know, but I can't fully remember, but just, yeah. But anyways, so, well, he played a historical figure, so, yeah, but anyways, so, yeah, Mr. Ring-a-Ding, something goes wrong with Mr. Ring-a-Ding, and even, like, say, also, another character that's on screen with Mr. Ring-a-Ding, Sally Sunshine, being voiced by Millie O'Connell. I know her, I know I've probably seen Millie O'Connell from other stuff, but, of course I can't remember right now, but yeah, just, like, the audience that are watching the cartoon right now, well, because, one of them saying something which triggers Mr. Ring-a-Ding, and, and those that are in the theater, they're just like, what the heck? Because, is the cartoon character, like, it's talking directly at them. Yes, you want the glasses, and, don't make me laugh, because... yeah, Mr. Ring-a-Ding always bringing that up at times in this episode. Don't make me laugh. And what happens if he does laugh? Well, of course, something bad, but yeah, until I talk about some more. But yeah, just overall, it was an interesting way to start off this episode, where literally, because Mr. Ring-a-Ding becomes possessed, and, well, because, yeah, whatever it is that's made its way into the film cameras, projecting the cartoon of Mr. Ring-a-Ding, yeah, and Mr. Ring-a-Ding stepping out of the screen and going after his victims. Oh, man. Interesting way to start it off. Really, just, yeah. And, of course, with the opening credits, and, yeah, once again, seeing the Doctor and Belinda, and, yeah, the Doctor's still struggling, trying to, get Belinda back, to, present time in her home. And this time, has Belinda join him because of going to, Miami 1952 and such. But yeah, I mean, it's the TARDIS that is the one that, takes them directly to 1950 to Miami. But yeah, then the Doctor whipping out this device called the Vindicator. It's basically a GPS for the time vortex, yeah. And in this episode, and okay, yeah, I'm starting to get this now because of the whole love letter thing, and from what I've heard, because, yeah, how fans responded, and you Whovians, how you've responded to this episode and with some of its dialogue, because the whole thing of the number 15, and this, I think there's all, even, say, what was done with, say, the 10th Incarnation and Martha Jones, because, and because, with the Doctor mentioning to Belinda, waiting for the world to change, and, on a positive note, but also the fact that, more to this where the Doctor and Belinda, what they share with each other, because with, the Doctor's home planet, and what we know of, say, Belinda's mother, her being a violin player, and with what the Doctor's not sharing quite yet about his home planet, and with the mentioning of the Time Lords, and even when Belinda later on thinks that maybe possibly more of the Doctor's people could come in and help them. But little does she know. Yeah, but, I think just overall, because with what, the dialogue that comes from, say, the Doctor and with Ncuti Gatwa's great performance as the 15th Incarnation, and with that, Belinda, as the new companion, is pretty well done, and how some of the Whovians have reacted to that. And I'm sure for a lot of you, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and the best I can describe, so, yeah. Okay, but anyway, so, continuing on, because, yeah, the Doctor and Belinda, because, yeah, when they arrive in Miami 1952, because, them discovering this cinema that's been closed off, and apparently, because to some of the locals there, it's apparently haunted, and those that were at that theater was never seen again. It had been, 6 months since that happened? Yeah. And when they get more information about this, when they go to a diner and someone's son went missing, was one of those people that sadly went missing at that theater. And because sure enough, because when they make their way there into the theater and what they discovered, of course, what they discover is, Mr. Ring-a-Ding himself. And we learned that Mr. Ring-a-Ding is the harvester, of Lux, this god entity and such. And, some say, and I would think so too, I mean, duh, because with what's mentioned a little later on from Mr. Ring-a-Ding, but, being Lux, that Lux being linked and one of the, reinforcements and such, from the Toymaker, because, remember what the Toymaker said, where he gave the Doctors a warning, the 14th and 15th Incarnation, where, more reinforcements of his will appear and take on the Doctor, and, hence we had, say, Maestro, and now we have Lux, so, yeah. And man, because these god entities love playing tricks and such, and screwing things around on Earth, and because, we have to deal with another one, of course. Well, and of course, the antagonist for the Season 1 finale, him too, but yeah, you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, and yeah, because more on Mr. Ring-a-Ding, aka Lux, he's very interesting, really nice design, with a blue face, a pig nose, and with Alan Cummings' voice, yeah. And the fact that Mr. Ring-a-Ding at times is annoyed by his theme song, And the more the Doctor and Belinda learn about what's specifically going on in the theater, not to mention that this one guy whom is still there in the theater, who was running the projection. That being, it's Reginald Pye. Yes, that's his name, being played by Linus Roche, if I'm saying that right. Yeah, because he's been held prisoner by Lux, and, when the Doctor and Belinda discover Reginald and his imprisonment in the theater and such, he's the only one that has survived. And to all those that were in the theater and when they were taken by Lux, well, apparently they're still alive. They're in these film reels. Yeah, they're being imprisoned in them. And when, Belinda and the Doctor discovered that, man. And, and the more mayhem that Lux causes, having some fun with Doctor and Belinda, and and what happens to them next, and why Reginald gave in and, obeying Lux. Well, apparently because, Lux made a promise to Reginald that he would be reunited with his late wife, which being Helen Pye, and Helen Pye being played by Jane Hancock, and to name some of the other characters, because we have Logan Cheever, if I'm saying the last name right, being played by Louis Cornet. Yeah, Logan is the one whom the Doctor and Belinda interact with, getting more information on, say, the theater at the diner. Yeah, that's him. And then there's and there was a moment where the Doctor and Belinda interacted with this one woman at the diner, whom has a son who apparently was lost in the theater, and that being Renee Lowenstein, if I'm saying her last name right, being played by Lucy Thackeray, and her son, whom we saw at the start of this episode, that being some kid, in glasses named Tommy Lee, played by Cassius Hackforth. Yeah. And to name some of the other characters, because, there's the husband, I believe, whom was also at the theater, being played by Ryan Speakman. And there was also a newsreader. Yeah, obviously one of the films that was shown on the projection. The newsreader, just the voice, was Ian Shaw. But anyway, so with some witnesses, and with what whom the Doctor and Belinda interact with, and the fact that Renee sadly lost her son, but little does she know, and when the Doctor and Belinda find out later, because somehow, the woman's son, and along with all the others that were lost, taken by Lux and his clutches, they're still alive, again, in those film reels. Yeah, the still shots of them screaming when they were captured by Lux, Alright, but to still speed things up some, because what happens next is, because as this was also shown in the trailers, and what we were going to expect, and with this episode of a living, breathing cartoon character being the antagonist, because the Doctor and Belinda, unfortunately, get in one of Mr. Ring-a-Ding's traps. Yeah, Mr. Ring-a-Ding sending them into the film, and, basically, them being turned into cartoon characters. Yeah, I want to say that, they start off being, hand-drawn and such, cell animation, that kind of stuff, and it's is it me, or, I think it's obvious, it's kind of, giving us Scooby-Doo vibes, because we know the certain style and look to Scooby-Doo, especially the first cartoon Scooby-Doo, and in order to escape, and to get themselves out of there, they have to spill their fears to each of them, because, with the Doctor bringing up, say, about the loss of his home planet, his people, and, Belinda fearing that, her life is in danger under the Doctor, just that kind of stuff. It's emotional, but also funny, but hey, it works. And they go from, say, being 2D to 3D to, their normal selves, live action, and, them furthering to try to escape, pulling down the film reel, because, But then, when it would lead to, say, them making their way to the screen, and by pushing the screen down, and, I recall, because when I watched it, I was like, okay, I might have a good feeling where this is going, and, because, a bit of fourth wall breaking and such in this, kind of, but at the same time, with how it's done in Doctor Who, I don't know, because I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't say it would be compared to, like, say, how it was done in, like, say, in the season finale of She-Hulk. Okay? That's very different, alright? But yeah, overall, because when the Doctor and Belinda make their way through the TV screen, they come face-to-face with 3 Whovians. Literally. And yeah, this was a pretty interesting moment right here, but further on with what happens in this sequence, when the Doctor and Belinda encounter these 3 Whovians, and those 3 Whovians being Hazen Chowdhury, if I'm pronouncing that right, being played by Samar Arion. I think I got that right. Again, you know me sometimes. Lizzie Abel, played by Bronte Barb, and Robin Gossage, played by Steph Lassie. Yeah. So they're these 3 Whovians. They are freaked out. They're shocked to see the Doctor and Belinda right out of their TV screen, and the Doctor and Belinda, obviously and understandably, being totally unaware that, they're being watched. We're watching them. Most notably the Doctor, on these adventures that he and any companion have, and as of now, with him and Belinda. So yeah, there's that whole sequence with the Doctor and Belinda's interactions with the 3 Whovians. A bit freaky at first for the Doctor and Belinda, but at the same time, yeah. And even when, like, say, the 3 Whovians, they bring up, like, one of their favorite Doctor Who episodes / stories, which they're not wrong, because I know, and shout out to my mom, where, yeah, this is one of her favorites of Doctor Who. It was during the time of the 10th incarnation, Blank, and just Blank alone. Well, who can blame them, and to all of you who enjoy that episode, Blank? Come on, because there was more great Doctor Who stuff than just Blank. But yes, I can't deny the fact that, yeah, Blank was a really good episode, and it had some good storytelling from Stephen Moffat. It was the debut of the Weeping Angels, and yeah, and the fact that the 10th Doctor's hardly in it. He's there, but not entirely in it. Just, if you've seen the episode, then and I'm sure, yeah, for a lot of you too, like those 3 Whovians, enjoy Blank. But more on those 3 Whovians, because it's very clever with some of this on how it's done, because, like, those that run Doctor Who, like, it's obvious that they acknowledge and understand, and with the stabs and jokes that the 3 Whovians make, and how the show runs and such, yeah, you gotta give it that. But yeah, and also because some debates and stuff like that the Whovians bring up, it is funny and all, but at the same time, there is some emotion to this, because we find out, and what the 3 Whovians tell the Doctor and Belinda, that they're not actually real. They're a part of Lux's, trick and such, and yeah, and the fact that they are willing to help the Doctor and Belinda escape. And basically, they're going to sacrifice themselves. And yeah, it's very emotional. And I think that just overall, that sequence with those 3, lovable Whovians was pretty well done. Yeah. And yeah, just at the same time, how it first starts off, but how further it takes. What we learn more about where the Doctor and Belinda are with these 3 Whovians, it's very interesting and hard-hitting, yeah. And man, what a sacrifice they make, where, yeah, the Doctor and Belinda making their escape, and, well, yeah, Lizzie, especially, like, pulling it down, the film reel, and just, yeah, that's the last we see of them, supposedly. And, yeah, what an ultimate sacrifice that those 3 Whovians made for the Doctor himself, as well as Belinda. Okay, but anyway, so, continuing on, because, like, then there's one moment where the Doctor and Belinda think they did make their way back to the theater, but not exactly, and, like, well, yeah, because when they make their way back, they are greeted by, say, Renee Lowenstein with a policeman, because, Renee pointing out to the policeman that they know something about the disappearance of her son, and, yeah, and some, references to, how the black people were treated in the 1950s, the racial stuff, like, and how it's done in here, but yeah. And the Doctor realizing, this is another one of Lux's tricks. And sure enough, and when they're actually back, and then it would lead to, say, Lux stealing the Doctor's powers, his regeneration, to have it be into Lux where he can, turn into a flesh-living, being. And, it's up to Belinda to do something about this. And when she stumbles upon Reginald again, or Reggie for short, and tries to get Reggie to help her out, and when it comes to if there's any way to officially take down Lux, well, by burning the film reels with a match. And that's what would happen. And even when, there was one moment where, Reggie, because with his sad loss of his wife, well, somehow his wife made a present, and by lending him a box of matches, and, the whole thing of, him to soon reunite with his wife and such, and with the sacrifice he's going to make. So thus, that's what he does. He sacrifices himself to burn down the film reels, and, well, this would lead to a bit of the theater building to explode, and for some sunlight to hit Lux, because with sunlight hitting Lux, this will defeat him, and with that, Lux starts to grow big. Everyone around the theater outside can see this happening, him growing and such, and when he makes his way into outer space, and, by saying that he's everything, and he's not, and, he vanishes, fades away, and, how his defeat is done, pretty interesting, but that's the defeat and demise of Lux, Mr. Ring-a-Ding, but and all ends well, because with Lux being defeated, everybody whom was captured by Mr. Ring-a-Ding / Lux is now free. Because most notably, Tommy Lee is reunited with his mother, Renee, and, everybody else that was there in the theater are all free, and, And for the Doctor and Belinda, well, their job is finished, and, they slip out, make their way to the TARDIS, and apparently, Mrs. Flood happens to be present, and her pointing out to say, Renee, Logan, and Tommy on seeing the police box vanishing, disappearing, and with how Mrs. Flood puts at it is very interesting, and just something about Mrs. Flood, and it's building up to something, and obviously, as of now, because we would know by now, because with Season 2, something about Mrs. Flood we don't quite fully know and get yet. What could it be? Well, we shall find out, and as, well, Season 2 proceeds. After that, well, because there's one moment where, the end credits start, but not really, because, with the first bit of end credits we get, well, that's interrupted when we see the three Whovians. They survived that. They're alive and well, and, when they realize that they're okay. And, because, with Episode 2, Lux, it was a very interesting episode, and, seems like that, good thing that this turned out to be a pretty good episode in Season 2. For me, I would say probably it's become one of my favorite episodes of Season 2 so far. With what Episode 2 had to offer, and with whom the Doctor and Belinda go up against, this antagonist who's in that same territory as the Toy Maker and Maestro, very interesting. And the fact that this episode, again, being like a love letter to the Whovians, and with those three Whovians, that was in some way, for Russell, saying to the Whovians that we are the real heroes. Now let that sink in. The more you think about it, and with what I'm saying, and if you've seen any other videos that best describe this, with what comes from Episode 2, very interesting, and I think pretty well done. Just overall, Lux was an interesting episode. Good to see that this turned out to be a pretty good one, for this being the second episode of Season 2. Not bad. All right, so now we come to the third and last episode for my part 1 review of Season 2 of Doctor Who, Episode 3, The Well. Description / the story. Far in the future, on a tough, brutal planet, a devastated mining colony has only one survivor. To discover the truth, the Doctor and Belinda must face absolute terror. Now, this was another good episode, and as I said, because from episode 2 to 3, some pretty good ones. In fact, even after episode 3, episode 4 was another pretty good one too. Again, on the IMDb page, the top rated. So, yeah, anyways. Okay, so episode 3, The Well, because, yeah, there's no denying, and for me, that this was pretty interesting in the direction that this episode takes. Holy cow. Yeah, because, the Doctor and Belinda, having left, 1952 Miami, and still having some trouble trying to get back home, and there was also the mentioning of hope, and also with the Doctor's very own GPS for the time vortex, he had to charge that up some in the last episode, and yeah, because still trying to get it to work in this episode. And, this time, they've traveled very far into the future. Many years into the future. And even if, because in the world of Doctor Who, because where they've traveled, if Earth's still round. Jeez Louise. With them changing some wardrobe, because in episode 2 I didn't talk about this, where because it was pretty funny, because they were having some fun when they changed wardrobe, and they do this once again, and it's the Doctor just so happened to know which specific wardrobe they had to wear for where they travel to. Just putting on spacesuits, and when they see others in spacesuits, the exact same ones, and when going for the helmets, And, because they found themselves with these group of people, because, in the spacesuits that's about to make their destination down on this planet, where, as I read in the description / the story, but what happens when they make their way there? Oh boy, because, and with these group of characters that they interact with, and just, from there on. So, and, literally, because they had to, them making their destination to this planet, they had to literally jump, but of course they're okay. And by the way, because when the Doctor and Belinda, they first exited the TARDIS, none of these troopers paid attention to them. But now they did, because, the Doctor getting more, energy and such for his, very own GPS, then, these troopers, led by Hanno Yeft, if I'm pronouncing that right, being played by Annabelle Brooke, they now notice them and, pointing their guns at them and explain yourselves, and the Doctor showing his papers, whom he is, his identity to them, and, that was taken care of, and so with these troopers, led by Hanno, because they've basically, they were sent by 6767 to find out why the miners on the planet had disappeared, because something that happened on the planet with these miners, for some reason, out of nowhere, all contact with these miners went silent, and these troopers, and with the Doctor and Belinda, have just so happened to be tagging along with them, going down to this planet and finding out what this is all about, and with the disappearance of the miners. So, so with the Doctor and Belinda joining with these troopers, and, the other characters that we get, the other troopers, Callow Rents, being played by Luke Rodri, Mo Gilibin, if I'm saying the last name right, played by Bethany Antonia, Kai Saba, played by Goss Chowdhury, if I'm saying that right, and we also have Cassio Palin, played by Christopher Chong, Shia Costallion, played by Kaeli Fayondun, again, you know me sometimes, I can't help it, Albie Bethick, played by Gary Thalai, so with them investigating and exploring the mines, and, because with what they discovered is, no miners, and when, bodies are discovered, because, because the miners were killed in some way. How and why? Just what is it that's in these mines that got the miners? But as the episode proceeds, we find out. And also, because, the Doctor, each of them, the Doctor and Belinda, having some good chemistry and interactions with these troopers, and because the Doctor being with Hanno Yeft most of the time, and then with Belinda being with, like, say, Mo and a few others, just because if I brought this up before, because like it never fails for Doctor Who for characters who maybe like have one-off appearances most of the time, for one episode / adventure of Doctor Who, never fails to bring some good character and chemistry to them. You know what I mean? And because with what these characters have to offer and what they find themselves into, along with the Doctor and Belinda, it's pretty well done. And more with the bodies, because, well, like, one body that the Doctor discovers, and, and that goes for all the other bodies with what the Doctor first discovers, with this one body he first finds, where apparently everything in the body, the neck, the arms, everything broken. Jeez. And also, Belinda discovers that mirrors that are, on this mining base, they're broken too. And, just... what the heck is this? Something that was there and present killing these miners. And then we also learn that apparently, and this obviously is the doing of whatever it is that the miners came face to face with, this creature, whatever it is, it made and caused these miners to turn against one another, make them go ballistic and so on, paradelusional, and then at one point, one of the troopers, Mo, discovers something that there is someone living and breathing nearby in the mines, a heartbeat and such. And, that happens to be this one female whom is, deaf and such. I mean, and she does speak, but at the same time, she still does some sign language and such, that being, Alice Finley. I think I got the first name right. Being played by Rose Aline Ellis. This character, I thought, was pretty good. Because the time we spent with her, and a good majority of this episode taking place in this one room where they discover Fenley. Fenley, in, the mining tunnels, this mining base, she, the troopers think that maybe she had to do something with the killings of, the murders of these bodies and such, but no, because she explains to them, and even when, the Doctor and Belinda stepping in, of course, and this is really cool and clever. These devices that are attached to their uniforms, where whatever it is that they're speaking, it will spell out, and for Fenley to read and such. Like, you've seen this episode, and that's pretty clever. Nice. I love that. So, with the interactions that the Doctor and Belinda have with her, well, we learn that she is the cook. But then, at some point, she killed one of her friends because one of her friends was going ballistic and so on, because whatever it is that's caused all of the miners and such, these people, to kill one another, and well, it's not Fenley's fault at all. She had to defend herself and had no other choice but to protect herself and to sadly, kill her friend. We also learned that the fact that she's the only one remaining there, she has yet to reunite with her daughter. Oh, yeah. I tell you, because, like, with Fenley herself and what Rose Ailing Ellis brought to this character was pretty well done. I think, with what was brought to this character, this deaf character, whom has the ability to speak, but still, can't really hear them, was pretty well done. What more do I have to say? That's all I've got to say about this character. And with what happens to her later, and when, Belinda, most notably, and, of course, the Doctor, are trying to save her life, and because when, things do go ballistic as the episode proceeds, and when, because whatever it is that has caused the miners to turn against one another, kill each other, well, that happening to the troopers, definitely. Alright, anyways, but, because the more, like, talk and such, and with the interactions with, say, Finley and Belinda, like, then at one point, Belinda, and we wouldn't even, like, even I tried to look very carefully at this when I was watching this, but I couldn't see it at first until, like, say, like, when Belinda saw it twice, where this, like, shadowy, mysterious figure is behind Finley, and with dramatic jump scare music playing, and yeah, because Belinda at first thinking that she's probably seen things, and well, I mean, because the fact that there are a lot of dead bodies and such in the mind, and it could feel very distorted, but not exactly. And the further Belinda starts to see this some more, and then it starts to happen to the troopers, and good thing, because like they're not wanting, and they're not going to, hopefully, fire upon Finley, because Finley, when we learn as the episode proceeds that she is innocent, because whatever that's behind her, well, apparently we learned that Finley, and to go ahead and mention this, that she's the host of whatever it is that's linked with her, and well, the further that we learn about this mysterious, shadowy creature, whom we really don't even see, well, because every time someone, like, when some of the troopers go around and behind Finley, something, what it is, sending that trooper flying and is dead instantly. Yeah. And the Doctor learning more information, like the more information that the Doctor and Hanno find of, like, say, of the mining tunnels, and, well, we learn, like, one thing is, like, we learned, like, these mining tunnels, like, they carry diamonds and such. It was a tunnel of diamonds and so on. And this planet that, they are on, it had an original name, and, yeah, with this episode, with how much we learn about this episode, like what goes on, and the further this episode continues, and the puzzle pieces are coming together, the mysteries, like, yeah, and the intenseness, and it's building up, just, yeah, and with what the Doctor realizes more is that, yeah, that apparently the name of this planet was originally named Midnight. And this episode, The Well, just so happens to be a sequel to an episode of Doctor Who during the era of the 10th incarnation, David Tennant. Yes, this is a sequel to that episode. And yeah, because I have a description pulled up about it, because yeah, this episode, The Well, is a sequel to one episode of Doctor Who from 2008, Midnight. Yeah, because both episodes feature the Midnight Entity, a creature that possesses humans and makes them repeat the words of others. Yeah, and, well, this creature, which being referred to as the Midnight Entity, is behind, Fenny, and, yeah, because again, whomever, whomever gets behind, Fenny, behind her and such, like, yeah, that creature will attack anyone. Just, man, I tell you. I know that I probably had seen that episode before, Midnight, but man, it sure been a long time. And, here's another thing, because it's always amazing to see any episode of Doctor Who in the future where, it would have callbacks, and to stuff that was in the world of Doctor Who before. Callbacks, and, they would be sequels and such. This isn't the first time we've seen something like this. And it's great to see this kind of thing happening again. Yeah. So yeah, the Doctor, when it all occurs to the Doctor, and yeah, because he's been on this planet before, and yeah, being very well aware, as of now, what they're dealing with right now. The, Midnight and such. And, yeah. And by the way, because, the entity, which, being referred to as, okay, it has no name, okay, was played by Paul Casey, okay, well, I presume, because, yeah, it has no name is obviously Midnight, but yeah, but going by that name, so, as it's credited. And by the way, some of the other characters, to go ahead and mention them, because we have, Sal Van Houten, if I'm saying the last name right, being played by Frankie Lipman, and there's Ulrich Dazen, played by Jermaine Dominique, and Val Vivo, played by Amy Tiger, and we also, okay, because, yeah, this character appears at the very end of the episode, but until we get to the end of the episode, excuse me. Yeah, and these troopers that are just referred to as Trooper so-and-so. Trooper number 5 is played by Meg Abernathy Hope, and Trooper number 6, Biegi Demba, and Trooper number 7, played by Sophie Call. Okay, and Trooper number 9, Paul Scudder, and Trooper number 10, Umit Guzakic. Again, you know me sometimes, I probably butcher some of their names, but just, yeah, anyways. So, of course, yeah, just to name the rest of the cast that's in this episode. But yeah, so with the Doctor realizing what's happening, and when he comes to Belinda, and most notably Fenley's aid, and, you know, trying to get the troopers to snap out of it, and, you know, because with them being hallucinated by what's going on, well, one of the troopers that really, yeah, starts to become a dick in this, there's always bound to be someone like, you know, one of those characters, Cassio, yeah, he will give no shits by this point, and starts to not trust the Doctor and Belinda, and, you know, tries to take, and he does so, trying to take Hanno's position, you know, being the one in charge, and even managed to get one of the other troops to be by his side, Saba, yeah, and will take matters in his own hands to take care of what's going on, and because of Fenley, the creature that's behind her, just, oh my gosh, like, yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it's understandable because his mind toying with him, and because of what Midnight is doing. So yeah, but what would happen next? Like, yeah. All right, but anyways, and to speed things up still, because yeah, with Cassio's stupid doing, because like then it leads to say, causing for Fenley to keep staring at Cassio, because him gun pointing at Fenley, and because of this, like, it's causing all the other troops that, yeah, with Fenley staring directly, and because, yeah, behind, like, the troops are behind Fenley, and each of them getting killed and such, be flown into the air, and they're done. Golly. But with that, like, Mari Gold, his music and score in this episode, at that moment, like, that was really awesome, because, like, that music and score, because, yeah, at times, Mari Gold would reuse, you know, and rescore some of the music that he had written for Doctor Who. And right here, because I recognize that key, because, you know, it's like, dun 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 dun, because I heard it, and I'm sure the same goes for you, because I think more than just once where, yeah, because I heard that in The End of Time, you know, the two-parter, and where, yeah, because the rogue Time Lords, which one, you know, being led by Timothy Dalton, you know, coming face to face with the Doctor. You'll die with me, Doctor. I know, says the Doctor. Like, that music right there, like, oh, that's so good, and with it getting intense, and right here, just, yeah. But, yeah. So with what Cassio is doing, causing his fellow troopers to be killed one by one, then it leads to Hanno, to have Fenley face her, which leads to Cassio being killed as well. Hey, at least it put an end to that, because with everything's happening so fast, and yeah, Hanno making it very clear that Cassio was getting out of control. But, you know, still, the Doctor pointing out that, well, that's what the creature is wanting to happen. Yeah, so, you know, I mean, who could really blame Cassio for what he was doing? You know, it's because of the creature's doing, and yeah. And with the situation being more intense, well, then, at one point, the Doctor takes it upon himself to approach poor Fenley. Just by this point, she's just being very upset by this, and the fact that, yeah, because she is the innocent one, but when, yeah, then, like, the Doctor mentioning that Fenley is the host for Midnight, and, well, again, the Doctor taking it upon himself to approach Fenley and to speak directly to the creature that's behind her, and only the Doctor can see it from his point of view. I mean, we can't, and neither can the others, and, man, because we can hear some whispering, but we can't tell, of course, what the creature is saying to the Doctor. But according to the Doctor, and looking at his facial reactions, and when he starts to tear up, like, the creature knows the Doctor's actual name. and with whatever it is that it says to the Doctor, then it occurs to the Doctor that, and how, when it comes to knowing how to defeat the creature, it's got to see itself. Well, because then the Doctor, telling Hanno and the other remaining troopers to fire their guns at the pipes, at some certain pipes that will leak out water, and it'll make waterfalls. And, when that happens, the creature, seeing itself, its reflection, and, it makes its way out of Fenley. Fenley is no longer the host. And right after that, they make a run for it, just getting out of there. And, because with them escaping, and they seem that they've made good progress, and for Hanno, she orders the other troops to take Fenley back, and by putting on a spacesuit, and thus she can be sent to reunite with her daughter. Yeah, so good for Fenley getting a happy ending. But that's not the end of where they're at, because, that creature is not defeated quite yet, because it was following / chasing them, even the Doctor getting a glimpse at the creature. We do too, but just, yeah. The creature, Midnight, it's made its way to Belinda. Now she's the host, and, it gets really intense, and, even the Doctor willing to make a sacrifice for the creature to come to him. And the Doctor can be the creature's guide through the universe / the galaxy. But Hanno, taking it upon herself to be the sacrifice, to be the host for the creature, by shooting Belinda, and thus the creature comes to Hanno. And what Hanno does next, she makes a run for it, making her way back to where the well is. Because, we see the well, this giant hole, and, because where they were, the Doctor and Hanno, and the information that they were getting, and when the Doctor learns about what the planet's original name was, that location in the mining tunnels. Hanno making a run for it there. The Doctor tries to catch up to Hanno, but, Hanno making the sacrifice, falling behind her back, and, and with her goes the creature. So Hanno making a sacrifice in the line of duty, And as for Belinda, of course, she's not going to die after being shot, because, Mo being really the last surviving trooper, and helping Belinda, and when the Doctor comes back, to revive and to, clear, But just overall, Belinda survives from that. Man, I tell you, because with what happens in this episode, and, because the ultimate sacrifice from Hanno, and maybe, possibly, that's the final defeat and demise of Midnight? Maybe, but we're not really sure, right? Because that's the thing, because with many faces that the Doctor comes face-to-face with, the antagonists, you never can tell. It's hard to tell, if it would be the last time we would see them or not. And one of the last things we see in this episode is, Mo giving in a report on what all happened to, Mrs. Flood, because, Mrs. Flood being present, and, Mo mentioning about the Doctor and Belinda, and this Vindicator, this device that the Doctor has, which, the Vindicator, the GPS for the Time Vortex, and Mrs. Flood, what is it about her still that we don't realize yet? And also the fact that, because her fascination with the Doctor and with the Vindicator that the Doctor has, what's this all about? Obviously, because we will find out as we further into season 2, I should say. But that was an interesting way to end off this episode, because with, again, seeing Mrs. Flood, and, just overall, episode 3, The Well, was another pretty interesting episode, and this being another good one for the second season of Doctor Who. Good to see, with what The Well had to offer with its story, and this being a sequel to a previous episode / story / adventure we saw, and which coming straight from the time and era of the 10th incarnation, we see that foe of the Doctor's reappearing, and what happens this time, and with a few funny moments here and there, the emotional moments, just overall, The Well was a good one. I enjoyed it. And yeah, because the first 3 episodes for season 2, they were good, with what their stories had to offer. And so far, a pretty good start for season 2. And yeah, just have to wait and see. And as I continue watching and reviewing season 2, yeah. So, what about you guys? What did you think of the first 3 episodes of Doctor Who? Any of you that are on the same level as me, you're enjoying it, and if you thought that the first 3 episodes of Doctor Who, especially, episodes 2 and 3, were really good, which episodes of Season 2 have been your favorite so far? And, things that you weren't expecting so far, and, that I'm, of course, referring to the first 3 episodes, because what we knew from the trailers and such, but when we see them, the episodes themselves and just, were you enjoying them and mind blown, and what were some of your favorite moments, and how did you feel so far about the new companion, Belinda, and the fact that Belinda is somehow in links with another character that is played by the same actress that the Doctor encountered in the first season, and yeah, from there on. And, the chemistry between the 15th Doctor and Belinda herself, and what they've so far got themselves into, overall. What do you think of the first 3 episodes of Season 2 of Doctor Who themselves, and with what I've had to say, my review, and what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. And so, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the first 3 episodes of Season 2 of Doctor Who. Episode 1, The Robot Revolution. Episode 2, Lux. And Episode 3, The Well. More review videos are coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward. And I will see you guys in the next video / review. Take care, and, part 2 will be on the way. And, stay tuned for my part 2 review of Season 2 of Doctor Who, Episodes 4, 5, and 6. Peace out, and Anal Z.